Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love After Lockup, Season 6, Episode 5.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
Yes.
Walk us through it.
So we start with Ashley, Julius, and Alexis. So Ashley is opening up the door, yelling, Julius, Julius. She was so happy he's there. He hugs her, but he actually rolls his eyes as well.
Yeah.
He tells her happy birthday. Of course, he does not have a gift for her. He thinks Ashley looks different in person than she did in her pictures, and he still feels like Alexis looks better. And he feels like she's a little bit too animated.
Stop right there for a second. Do you think she catfished him?
Yeah. She sent pictures probably from like 10, 15 years ago. Or maybe 5. I'm not going to put it like that. Yeah, it looked like she sent him old pictures.
Yes. It definitely was a catfish situation.
Yeah. So she got him balloons and roses, and she tells him that he is sexier than Chris Brown.
Okay, so we know who your celebrity crush is.
She says that her nose is running, everything is leaking.
That was disgusting. You know, she talked about, you know what, she said, I have no idea why like my nose keep running. You know what? Everything's leaking. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I honestly don't blame Julius for being standoffish because she came in too hot.
Yeah. So she asked him if he wants to go swimming, and he says that he can't swim, not even in the shallow end. Pretty much, I'm not getting wet today. And he's also texting, not really looking at her, not really paying attention to her for real. And he feels like she's doing too much, and she's coming off way too strong. And Alexis is calling and texting him, but he's not really answering. Alexis is hoping that he's really going to his friend's house, but she doesn't know. So back at the hotel, Ashley is asking if he's nervous to meet her, and he says, I'm just kicking it. I'm here to vibe. I'm a vibe. And she's like, I'm a vibe too. Let's vibe together. And he says, we can kick it, but don't get the wrong idea. And Ashley feels like this is not the person that she's been talking to. And she asks him, are you sure you even want to be in a relationship with me? And he's like, we're not in a relationship.
Wow.
And she storms out the room, and he says she, I guess, just got the wrong idea. And Ashley says that he ruined her birthday. She has been waiting for him all day.
What are your thoughts?
So far, I would just wish Ashley would have tucked her crazy in just a little bit. Like she was literally balls to the wall out there for this man. And probably because she really felt like this was really her man. You know what I'm saying? Like she was really excited, but girl, the energy was not there. He was not excited to see you. He didn't come to bring you anything for your birthday. You had balloons and roses for him.
Nice.
And so I'm just kind of like, Ashley, like peep the scene a little bit. See if he's even worth your energy, you know? But at the same time, she was saying that he was lying to her, and he was, you know, texting her saying that he loved her and all this type of stuff. And clearly, you know, he presented himself differently in jail versus how he is on the outside. And that's what my thing is too. If you never met him in person, don't just believe what he says over text and phone. That's what her friends were trying to tell her, but she wasn't trying to listen.
No, of course not, because she went to go get the man tattooed, his name all over her chest. Her nose running, she wiping it with her hand. She just comes off as unhinged. And truth be told, he was texting, I would have been fully on the phone, like talking out loud, because I don't want to make eye contact with her, because she came off as fanatic. Like this is the reality of how a lot of y'all would act if y'all was to meet y'all celebrity crush. Y'all wouldn't be cool. Y'all wouldn't be calm and collected and things of that nature. Y'all would have been like Ashley. Crazy. You know what I mean? So she's over here talking about swimming, and he's like, I don't want to be really anywhere with you. I don't know how to swim, but you're tall. I'm not that tall, right? And then when it even comes down to it, he told her straight to her face that we're not in a relationship and I'm the prize. Like I'm the one. And she's like, you was in jail. Like, yeah, I'm the prize. And even the whole idea that she ran out the room crying, got a knock on the door that she paid for, her room to pay for, because she ran out without a key. And he just smiling like, I don't know what she wants from me. And do you think Alexis would be mad if she was to find this out?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Alexis, yes, I believe you should be mad, but look on the bright side. He chose you. Now, granted, he lied and said he was going to a friend's house. He ain't got to lie. You get what I'm saying? But he went.
Well, he did have to lie.
Well, that is facts, right?
Because he would have been out of a home.
But the whole idea is that he even said it in his way that, hey, that was jail talk, you know. But now I'm out of jail and I see who be writing me, and who was taking care of me. Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with you. And truth be told, I don't blame him, because she came off as fanatic.
Yeah. And he says that, we're not in a relationship. Clearly she got the wrong idea. And he was like, we could have just kicked it. And I was just trying to text your character. And what do you think this is? Like, we never met before. And she asked if he's staying the night, and he says no.
Okay.
Julius said that she didn't do anything for him when he was locked up, and you acting like I owe you my loyalty. And, he was like, and I'm the one who was in jail. I'm the catch. And she asked if there's another person. He says yes. But he felt like he owed her to at least come to see her.
Yeah.
Well, she tells him to enjoy his free time because he's going back. He's a piece of ish. He can't even swim. And what if we were to go to the beach? I don't think he's going anywhere with you.
Yeah, I think you need to give off the swimming thing. If you're really holding on to him and trying to basically say you're not a good person and you don't even know how to do things like swim, you sound even more crazier.
Yeah, so Julius leaves, and he's like, when you're in jail talking to these women, it's all entertainment.
Yeah.
And she's crying, talking about he's lying about everything. And girl, yes, he is absolutely lying about everything. Yes, but also, you don't know this man.
And you never met him.
Yeah.
You never met him.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to Will and Courtney. So he thinks Courtney's amazing. He's ready to propose to her, and he's hoping this marriage thing would expedite her ability to parole to his house in the different state. So we learned that Courtney's mom raised her as a single parent, and she understands that she broke her mom's trust, but that is something that she is looking to rebuild.
Yeah.
She says that she hasn't taken care of some warrants out of Washington. Her mom lives in Washington, and she has to check in with her parole officer. Hopefully they don't arrest her. And Will knew about the warrants, but he didn't know that she could possibly get locked up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Courtney goes into the parole office. They wait for about an hour, and she calls saying she did not get arrested because those charges are not extraditable. It was grand theft auto charges. I'm like, girl, how many cars have you stole?
All of them. All of them.
But she's like, you know what? I just can't go to Washington pretty much ever in life. Or I'll have to go to jail. So Courtney is talking about she wants pizza and penis, and Will decides to take her to this big Christmas tree. She's not feeling it. She wants to change, shower, all that type of stuff. Even the mom is trying to pipe up. I'm just like, let her get decent first. But he takes her out there. She's complaining about how it's wet, it's raining, but he proposes, and she says yes. Mom is pissed. She does not think that her daughter's ready to get married, and she wants to have some alone time to talk to Courtney, but she leaves in the morning, so she doesn't think she's going to get that time to talk to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for them.
Listen here. He has plans, y'all. He got all that rope, all those chains and whips at the hotel room and things of that nature. So he's trying to put things in perspective right now. Yeah. Right. But like I said, this is giving, I own you. Right. It's giving to the point where the mother was like, let her get herself together. It's giving like, you know what? No. It's not really for you as much as it is for me. It's for me only. And here's the thing. I think he thinks that they have a smooth transition. But he gonna learn very fast that, like, hey, because of the things that she's done and the things that she's gonna be paroled to, that it's not gonna be as smooth as, oh, she could just go to his house and they just live happily ever after. Like, it never ends that way for, like, love after lockup. So I don't even know what his expectations is, really.
Yeah, and the producer even asked her, like, if she wants to be with Will for the rest of her life, and she was like, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. But I did feel like he could have I guess he couldn't have chose a different day because the mom was leaving the next day. I don't know why she couldn't stay an extra day in order for her to get cleaned up, get her nails done, whatever the case may be. So that way, when she does get proposed to, there can actually be some nice proposal pictures she can look back on.
Probably money.
Yeah, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So we move on to Quiana and Damodrick.
Oh, boy.
So his dad is having a cookout today. He has been in the halfway house for about 2 weeks, and she's hoping that he actually gets to come home this time.
Yeah.
So she goes to pick him up, and he is released, everything squared away, and they're headed to the cookout. I will tell y'all that she is also ready to get it popping with him. She put her thong on the bed, so when they get home, they can get to business.
Okay. Thank you for putting people usually put rose petals on the bed.
She did both.
Oh, okay. The thong and the rose petals. Okay, word.
So Quiana isn't really looking forward to seeing his sisters because they keep in contact with his baby mom. And Damodrick did invite his baby mom to the cookout. And, who is it? Quiana is just basically not feeling the ex because she posts about Damodrick. She doesn't really like that. So Joella and the kids arrived to the cookout, and the youngest son wasn't there. She was saying that the youngest was with her mom, and Damodrick hopes that she didn't do this to try to manipulate him in some type of way.
Okay.
Even his stepmom went over to her and was just like, the youngest baby is his baby too. You should have brought all his kids to see him. So Joella wants to be with Damodrick. She wants them to be a big happy family. And Quiana thought that Joella was just going to be the Uber driver for the kids and drop them off.
I don't know why she thought that for.
I don't know either. So Damodrick is getting pissed. Quiana's doing too much, making a whole bunch of little comments, and the sister can feel the tension between the two. Quiana tries to take a walk, and Damodrick says, Joella isn't bothering anybody. We don't got nothing going on. And he was just asking her how the kids were, and he was asking her, do you want to go ask Joella for yourself? And she was like, honestly, I don't want to ask her anything.
Yeah, here's what I don't understand. How do you pronounce her name?
Quiana?
Yeah. You're a guest of somebody's house.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really understand this whole stance of I'm not talking to his sisters. I'm not rocking with his sisters because they talk to his baby mom. Even though that is their nieces and nephews, whatever it is, right? So you are the newest one in the whole picture of everything. And who is the new one?
She's not new. She's been around. He cheated on her.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He cheated on her with her.
Yeah.
But
so they've been around the same amount of time, probably.
But my thing is, at the end of the day, she has no kids with him, right? At the end of the day, the kids probably come. The kids, this is probably not the only time the kids come over for the cookout and things like that. There's a familiarity with the family and the baby mother and the kids.
Right.
Right? So you at somebody's house acting a fool, walking down the street with a bottle in your hand and stuff like that, with your friends and things. So it just comes off as if it's hey, you don't own this guy. Now, do I think he's being honest? No.
Right.
100%. But you should know that. How you got him is probably how you're gonna lose him. Right. And on top of that, we are talking about someone who has kids with this woman. So he probably under the mindset of, hey, listen here, I don't have to be in a relationship with her to at least hit that. That will always be my baby mom, and it doesn't make it any better that the baby mother want to be back with him.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, if you can't stand the heat to where you can't really, don't jump to conclusions yet, right? Wait for people, give people enough space for them to do it to themselves. Nothing happened yet. Literally, nothing happened yet. Give them space for them to do it to themselves so you can react and not look so crazy in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Quiana's delusional. I mean,
oh yeah,
the
for
sisters are going to talk to her. That's their niece. That's their nephew's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if the kids come by and spend time with his side of the family,
mm-hmm.
they're going to have conversations and try to be in good standing with her, as well as Damodrick wants to be in good standing with her so he can see his kids.
Of course,
because there are sometimes women who will try to keep the kids away if the dude isn't doing what they want them to do. Not saying that is necessarily her, but it happens. And for Quiana, I'm thinking if you really want to marry this man and be integrated into his life, you do know that you're going to have to be around the kids and her as well.
But she don't think that.
And I'm just like, do you not think about all the different things that these kids are going to go through in life, whether it's graduations, birthday parties, all these different things, to where you guys are going to be in close proximity with each other. So if you can't get on the good foot with her, you need to be in good standing with her as well if you're going to be in these children's lives. And she's just not, it's not processing to her. And I think it's because there was so much cheating and, disloyalty and all this type of stuff that pretty much came from Damodrick. To me, that means you need to leave him. If there's all this back and forth with the baby mom, then you don't feel secure in your relationship. And if you don't feel secure, then you need to go.
But she ain't thinking that far, because in her head, she's probably thinking, once we get married, you're not talking to that baby mother. What she's really saying is, forget your kids and forget your baby mother. When we get married, we're going to have our own kids and our own life. Mm. And that's usually, too, your point, what's going to happen. To where she feels like, when we get married, that's a full reset. Forget your old life completely. And I'm like, that don't even make no sense.
Right. So we get to Brooke and JK, and they're still at the PO office, and she's scared to go in because there's so many people in there. So she just waits in her car, and he ends up coming out.
Okay.
he got his curfew pushed back a little back, so now he has to be home at 7 instead of 5.
Okay.
So they still have to run some errands today. They got to drive an hour to see his grandma. They got to go see her boys, and then they have to go back to his mom's house to make it back in time by curfew. Mm-hmm. He wants to make sure that he spends some time with his grandma because she's older and his grandfather passed away and he wasn't able to be there for him, because he was incarcerated. So he has Brooke sit outside because he wants to go in to talk to his grandma alone first, and Brooke is pissed. She's like, I waited for this man for hours in the car and he still got me outside waiting. So he's talking to Granny one-on-one, and Granny, is happy to hear he's here, that he's out, but she knows that her grandson makes bad decisions.
Okay. And
she also is feeling uneasy about Brooke. She wants to know what's up with the ex Alexis, Alex. And JK says that, she was sending me money. She was coming to visit me, but she was also seeing other men. So JK and his grandma come out to chat with Brooke, and Granny is just like, I read people very well, and I am uneasy about this Brooke person. So his cousin ends up pulling up. He goes to talk to his cousin on the side and basically is just like, hey, let me hit up Alex on your phone. So he calls Alex just to make sure that she's not going to pop up at this get together they're going to have. And she says that she won't come, but he also says something along the lines of, if you want to get in contact with me, just hit up my cousin. So at 6 p.m., they have to go straight to his mom's house, and she's upset because they didn't get to see the boys today. And she's like, you can't just promise kids something and then go back on your promise. So she's upset, basically telling him to get out the car. He's getting out the car, and now he's worried he's not going to make curfew and have to get sent back to jail.
Are those his kids?
Those are not his children.
Okay. So here's my thing. Let's start with grandmother. Grandma, you over here judging Brooke. I don't know who Brooke is from a can of paint. Based off this scene alone, she does come off as like you can't even walk into the PO office because there's a lot of people there. I don't even know what that means. But at the same time, you see the time that he's hanging out with his family, and now he's about to be at risk of missing his curfew that he got pushed back at that.
Yeah.
On the first day. And you mad because he can't see your kids today. You was mad that he was on the phone previously, and you said they got cell phones. How come he haven't reached out to them? Because that's not my kids.
Yeah, there's no bond there.
No, those are things you want me to do for you. You don't own me, but she feels like she owned him. That's why she could say, get out my car. Right? And he said, you know what, you a stupid AB.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing. Of course he's dishonest and he's manipulative, and I don't understand why grandmama didn't pick up on that with him.
Exactly. She's such a good Rita character, and you got a whole felon as a child. Well, I don't know if he's a felon, y'all. Allegedly, as a grandchild.
Well, he's a convicted.
Yeah.
Well, he's convicted for whatever he did, so he is a convicted felon. But the whole point is, on the property that she was told about she could read people, he's literally 20 feet away talking to his ex, being manipulative and things of that nature. So this whole thing of like, I can read people well, people are going to choose whatever team that like they go choose whatever team they're on. That's her grandson, so she's going to protect him, and she's going to think highly of him and think Brooke is going to be the end of him. To where they really shouldn't even be with each other, in my opinion, because he got his own thing, he's a liar, and she got her own thing to where I need a man to take care of my kids, and I don't think he should be that guy,
right?
Especially if he's living at home with his mother,
right? So moving on to Savannah and Bradley, it is the day of Bradley's welcome home party. He is talking to his sister Caddy, and he's telling her that he's feeling overwhelmed. He feels like he's being micromanaged, and the sister doesn't want him to pretty much get back into a mental space to where he's going to do things that he used to do. So Caddy is not the biggest fan of Savannah. She actually thinks Savannah is a bad influence, and Savannah is worried that Bradley might have to choose between his family and her.
Dude, like, you think Savannah's a bad influence?
I think she is, but Bradley's no better. I mean, all of them seem to get into stuff. You know what I mean? I think they birds of a feather, if you ask me.
Here's the thing. I don't know if she's so much of a bad influence, then, like, he just don't like her like that. I think Bradley's like, it's cool to have a hot body waiting for me when I get out of jail so I can, like, finally release some stress. But I think when the end all be, I think he knows he don't want to be with her long term. Because we even heard the conversation that they was having when he was locked up, with her expectations of them being together as a couple. Like, he's supposed to pay for her plastic surgeries and pay for this and pay for that, and he never got that tattoo. It's like he's doing a lot of things just to keep her close enough, but not to really make it seem like, I'm in it with you. So I think right now, I think she really want to be with him, right? but I don't think he really want to be with her.
Yeah, I guess my thing of when it comes to bad influence, of course, we know about her past of her being addicted to drugs. Yeah. I think he was a drug dealer and all that type of stuff.
Probably was her drug dealer.
Right. Yeah, I think he was. That's how they met.
Oh, okay.
And for her, when it comes to being a bad influence, I think that all of her needs and wants and pressures that she's putting on him could potentially stress him out to the point that he looks for ways to cope, and it might not be the healthiest ways.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I think that for him, with her, that if he goes back into some of his old habits and she's around, that she might fall into it as well. I think that honestly, I think that they both probably shouldn't be together because they both have similar struggles when it comes to drugs.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, that can't be in a health. That can't. I think that possibly it could be a good way for you guys to encourage each other. But y'all also seem a little bit toxic, more so Savannah.
Yeah.
To the point that you guys could put each other in an unhealthy space.
Yeah.
So.
And did Bradley use drugs too, or was he just the one that's selling it?
I think he was selling it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he used a little bit.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I think with her, she could definitely fall down that rabbit hole of using it. And I think to him, based on how he's going, he trying to get his life together. He got these jobs lined up, and I just don't see him really involving Savannah in any of it. Like, I see him like playing it cool now because it's early. I still need her, but I think eventually, like, he's gonna dump her.
Okay. So Savannah, she's pretty much, she goes over to talk to Caddy and she's like, I know you don't like me. I know you've said some things. Pretty much, let's have the conversation.
Yeah.
And Caddy said that she doesn't want any drama around her or Bradley. She's seen the drama between Savannah and her sister Alyssa, and she doesn't like it. And she talks about how Bradley said that he feels controlled and confined.
Yeah.
And Savannah doesn't think it's fair because there's no dungeon in the house that he's staying in.
Okay.
She's not trying to persuade Caddy to like her, but honestly, you're putting Bradley in a position to where he feels like he has to choose between his family and me. Caddy just wants to see more actions, less drama. She's not the biggest fan of her, but she's not going to tell her brothers to break up with her because he's a grown man.
And then on top of that, I think he already started a plan to do that.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is.
And honestly, I think Caddy's concerns are fair, but I also encourage family members not to get in between people's relationships because you can find yourself on the outs. You know what I mean? And especially if she and Bradley are as close as they say they are, I think that, number one, Bradley, talk to your homeboys if Savannah is controlling and manipulating. Don't talk to your sister. Your sister's going to take that to heart and start, acting funny towards your girl. So I think that Bradley needs to put up appropriate barriers if he really wants this relationship to work. So that way they can work through their issues without his sister being judgy on the side. Talking about, prove to me. I ain't got to prove nothing to you, ma'am.
But
I ain't got to prove nothing to you, ma'am.
But it goes to your point.
With him.
The reason why there is no boundaries because she's here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
So I could talk about her as if she's a stranger on the street to my sister, even though sometimes I'm cool with my sister, I'm not cool with my sister. I'm cool with my friends, I'm not cool with my friends. But with Savannah, I can call her stupid. I can tell her all these things because I don't really see a future with her.
Yeah. I mean, and I believe that. So Michael and Joey.
Yeah.
So Joey was feeling overwhelmed by this whole halfway house situation. Michael really not really giving an F about it. And Joey ends up pulling himself together in order to drive them to Michael's mom's house.
Okay.
So he hugged his mom. He apologized. And she's really his favorite person. She has worked so hard for their family. And he's just like, I don't deserve an angel like my mother. Like, I know I'm a bad person and I do bad things.
That's fair.
And he just feels like, something just must be wrong with my brain. And to me, I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, like, you're an addict. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, like, you need help, And so I do put it on him as far as starting down that path. But at a certain point, it gets beyond you. You can't get yourself out of the situation.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of control.
You're sick.
So even though Michael knows that, I just would hope that he would not that he shouldn't be hard on himself because the man is a career criminal. Okay. So I'm going to be honest about it, but he also has to realize that he's a sick individual.
Yeah. But that's why I wouldn't fall for the tears.
Yeah.
Because he's sick, because he can't do whatever he want to do. I could see him using those tears as a way to get his way
I think that's part of addiction.
Of how to soften someone's heart. Hey, can you help me? can you do this? So even though he knows who he is, I don't think it was an epiphany to where he thinking like my mother's an angel and I'm just a devil. I think he know he wrong, right? But it's to your point, he's sick, so you can't really believe nothing that he say
until he gets healthy.
On his own. He needs to be in a program that consistently, like, basically there for him and walking him through the steps. But any epiphanies he come on his own, you really can't trust it.
Right. So Michael wants to stay in a hotel with Joey, and the mom is like, you need to call the halfway house and make sure you get permission to do it. Joey, he's the type to beg for forgiveness instead of ask for permission. But he ended up getting the voicemail, so he was like, oh, perfect. They didn't answer. I'm going to tell him I'm going to be with Joey tonight.
Okay.
So Michael is just feeling all this pressure from his mom, from Joey, from the halfway house, from the PO. And Joey is telling him, look, I don't want to add any pressure to you. Like, I'm your partner. I'm here to support you. And I don't want to be that person in your life.
Yeah.
So pretty much Michael is feeling like his brain is telling him that he wants to run, but he is trying to, stay the course.
Okay.
So Joey is taking him to the hotel because he says he doesn't want to be a parental figure for Michael. If he wants to do whatever he wants to do, he's just going to be his boyfriend.
Yeah.
So as soon as they check into the hotel, we learn that that Michael got permission by his PO that he could stay that night.
Yeah.
Do I believe him?
Who knows?
I need to see the text message, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But but when they check in, Michael says that he needs to go back to the halfway house, I guess, to change like his status on the card that like he's away or whatever the case may be. So Joey's going to stay back at the house while he goes out to do that. And that's the scary part, is because that Michael is an addict. He did use in jail. I believe he told us that he did use in jail. And he, even when he got released from jail, all he had on his mind is the first time he could use. So I'm worried if he's out of Joey's sight, what is he going to do?
Who knows what he's going to do? And that's the whole point. And I don't even know why Joey is subjecting himself to this. Joey's the free man, right?
Yeah.
Joey's the one that basically disappointed his family, right? Joey's the one that is an addict himself, and he's trying to keep his sobriety, right? So I don't even understand why he would put himself in that position. And this is not a situation, I don't care how many times he tried to say it, to where he feel like he owe Michael something.
Right.
Because when he was going through his past or going through whatever he was going through, Michael was there for them. You don't owe, especially Michael, who ain't trying to be clean himself or trying to be honest, you don't owe him anything. Sometimes people are only used for a season. That doesn't mean like my life is forever in debt to you, especially if one way that you, put it like this, one way that you can pay it back to him or he can pay it back to you is whatever, is if you get him to go to a program with you. If you get him to stay clean with you. If he's not willing to do that, then guess what? The people that help you get clean will tell you need to be around clean people. So you're already going against all the work that you've done. And you are putting all while you're worried about Michael hurting you, Joey, you ain't worried about at all about you hurting your family if something was to happen to you. And that's what I'm saying. Because you are following Michael, who is a career criminal, I think you really need to take a step back and just protect yourself and protect your family while you're following after this relationship.
Yeah, and I think that Joey really needs to appreciate all of the love he has in his life outside of romantic love. Okay. And I know that can be hard because when you want romantic love, that's the top of your mind. That's all you can think about. That's all that you want, especially if he waited his whole time for Michael to be out. Okay. But the fact that Joey has such a loving and supportive family, it hurts my feelings to kind of see him disregard all of the support and care that they pour into him to run behind this man who's looking for his next high. Like, I'm just like, Joey, come on now, But I mean, Joey will have to come to the realization if he ever does. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, to me, it don't hurt me because I think Joey is knowingly selfish and he's going after what he wants, knowing that his father is battling with his sobriety and things of that nature. So by you doing whatever you're doing, you're putting his sobriety at risk. So it's like, it's coming off as selfish. Listen, I understand that Michael's the criminal, but Joey is selfish and he's not really doing what he knows that he needs to do to make sure that he's clean and safe.
Yeah. And that's all I got.
That's all. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all.
Bye.